not saying it for kicks and giggles. I'm not saying it for dramatic effect. I'm not saying it just to say it. I do truly believe that this Sunday, April 6, 2014, WrestleMania 30 at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, represents a critical juncture in the WWE. It really is, if you think about it. This is the first major pay-per-view after the launch of the WWE Network, a network that represents a new vision, a new way of doing things for the company. I imagine there's a lot of tightly clenched sphincter holes right now in the backstage area and in the offices at Stamford, Connecticut, because they're praying to God that they don't have any major issues. They're praying to God that things go at least remotely swimmingly with the WWE Network come Sunday, because part of the major justification for the launching of the network, for the price point, the major selling point to fans to get the network, to subscribe to the network, isn't the live stuff that they do, isn't the video on demand library. It was the fact that you could get the pay-per-views instead of paying 50, 60, in the case of WrestleMania, 65 or 70 bucks every single month. You could sit there and get all those pay-per-views, all those big shows for $9.99 a month. So it was incredibly critical for the WWE, A, to produce a good show to begin with, and B, be able to come out of the show relatively unscathed in terms of problems with that WWE network. Because if this thing crashes, if this thing doesn't work, if this thing has all types of problems, the whole justification for so many people subscribing to it is gone. And it potentially runs the risk of ruining the WWE Network as a way of the future, as a big part of the company's business model going forward before it's ever even really gotten off the ground. A critical juncture for the WWE. And not only that, it represents a real fork in the road for the WWE. Do they do things the way that they want to, the WWE way, or are they going to go about doing things differently? And are they going to choose a new way and a new direction? That, ultimately, is what I'm excited to find out this upcoming Sunday with WrestleMania 30. Before you actually even get to the show Sunday night, part of the WrestleMania weekend and what's become a big annual part of the WrestleMania weekend is the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And this 2014 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be broadcast live on the WWE Network Saturday night before WrestleMania, and I'll definitely be watching. What a great class this is. Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake Roberts, Paul Bearer, Razor Ramon, Lita, Mr. T, and even Carlos Colon. But it's also interesting, too, not only is this a great class and arguably maybe the best class of Hall of Famers in WWE history, it's one of the most controversial. If you don't know your history, Carlos Colon is an incredibly controversial inclusion. Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake Roberts, Razor Ramon, Lita, Mr. T. Everybody except Paul Bearer has pretty much got some type of controversy associated with them going into this Hall of Fame class. So it'll be incredibly interesting to see, and I can't wait to see some of these inductions and some of these speeches. Now, Sunday, before the actual main show, you've got a 2-hour pre-show, and that's got a lot of people like, oh, what the hell's going on? Keep in mind that for the WWE, WrestleMania is their Super Bowl of sports entertainment. And as a result, they're going to mimic the NFL and how they treat the Super Bowl. Keep in mind, you've got 5-6 hours of pre-show, of pre-game crap before the actual Super Bowl kicks off and gets underway. So I'm not surprised that they are going from a 1-hour pre-show to a 2-hour pre-show, because they want to make this feel different. They want to make this feel like the Super Bowl of sports entertainment. And let's be realistic here. How many of you are actually even going to watch all 2 hours of the pre-show before WrestleMania 30? How much of you are even going to watch an hour of it? I might watch the second hour. I might not. Am I going to watch all 2 hours of it? No, not really. Am I paying for it? No. So do I really care? No, I don't. But I understand why the WWE is going there and why they're doing this. Before I talk about the actual matches on this card, I do have to point out some things that have me a little bothered or a little concerned when it comes to the build-up and the lead-up into WrestleMania 30 and the actual structure of the show itself. Hogan is the guest host for WrestleMania 30. I was hoping they were going to maybe utilize him just a little bit more to put a little more life into this card, just to emphasize the fact that Hogan's going to be around to guest host WrestleMania 30. It felt like he's been really just the shiller for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and the WWE Network. I was hoping they were going to utilize him just a little bit more than they have. Maybe they will come Sunday, but at the moment it doesn't really look like they will, and that's disappointing, is WrestleMania 30. It's a 4-hour show in terms of the main card, and somehow the WWE finds a way to really outdo themselves by only having 7 announced matches on the damn card. Now, this would be something if you had a match that was going to go maybe an hour, like an Iron Man match like you had at WrestleMania 12, but you don't have any of those matches in the works. It feels like the WWE, yet again, doesn't understand good time management concepts when it comes to the WrestleMania show. It's been a problem, I think, that's plagued them in recent years. And that really bothers me. This is your biggest show of the year. If you need to be firing at all cylinders at any point in time, it needs to be this. This is less than 2 matches an hour over the course of 4 hours. The other problem that could lead to is that puts some undue pressure and stress on certain matches to go longer than they really need to. Like Daniel Bryan, Triple H probably only needs to go 20 minutes. If it goes 30 minutes or more because they need to fill time, that could be a problem. John Cena, Bray Wyatt maybe needs to go 15 minutes at most. If that's asked to go 20, 25 minutes, that might be too much. That might be a problem. Taker and Lesnar might only need to go 20 minutes this year, especially if no real special stipulation or no DQ or Extreme Rules stipulation to the match at all. It probably only needs to go 20 minutes max. If it goes 30 minutes or longer, it could be too long. It could be too drawn out. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. If Daniel Bryan beats Triple H, the only thing people are going to give a shit about is if he wins and how he wins and what happens. They're not going to care if that's a great main event match. Nobody's going to care. Frankly, they will not care. So are you really going to have to sit there, you get to the end of the night and you realize, oh my God, I got a bunch of time to fill, so I'm going to give you a 30-minute WWE World Heavyweight Championship match? You really want to go with Orton and Batista in the ring for 30 minutes in your main event of WrestleMania? No. But that's a problem that the WWE could potentially be creating here because of the fact that this show is 4 hours and they don't have enough content to fill it. What that means is you're going to get all types of stupid filler crap, and you're going to get long performances by certain individuals, and it's just going to be, oh, fucking God. And that's a problem to me. I also view this WrestleMania as underwhelming in the sense that the undercard is very underwhelming. It seems like the WWE was only focused on a couple of main matches until about 2 weeks before the show, and then they realized, oh my God, we got to finish up the undercard. We got to actually put together the rest of the show. And that's disappointing too. Again, 7 matches in 4 hours. To me, that's inexcusable. Even if you guys sit there and say, well, that means, longer times for the quality matches and dot. Even still, it's one thing to have 7 matches on a 3-hour show. I think that's stretching it a little bit. Now you're talking about a whole additional freaking hour. That's ludicrous and outrageous. Absolutely. And then you look at this card and you look at this underwhelming undercard and you see so many missed opportunities to do so much more. Why couldn't we get Cody Rhodes and Goldust on this card? Why not? Why couldn't we have the Usos versus the New Age Outlaws be saved here for WrestleMania and give the Usos their great big WrestleMania moment, winning the titles for the first time on the main WrestleMania card? Why couldn't we have the Shield wrestle each other in a freaking triple threat match for the United States Championship? Why couldn't we have the Shield wrestle the Wyatts for the first time in a 6-man tag here at WrestleMania? Or why couldn't we have Big E versus Jack Swagger versus Antonio Cesaro in a triple threat for the IC title? None of the mid-card, titles are being defended on the main card. The US and IC titles are non-existent on this card. That's outstandingly stupid. I can't believe the WWE pulled this shit off again. But yet, wonders never cease, do they? It just seems like I said, for this supposed to be a special show, they're leaving a very, very lot to chance here, and they're basically putting all their eggs in very few baskets, if you could not argue maybe only in one basket. And if you're putting your eggs in that one basket, so be it. If you're relying on one guy to win one match and then go on and main event the other match, win that match, create that awesome yes moment for 80,000 people, and that's how you close the show, then maybe that's enough to get you by. But we're talking about WrestleMania 30, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. One match and then later on one moment is not enough to make it a great show all around. the WWE should expect better of themselves and should demand better of themselves, and we should demand better from the WWE. I think it's incredibly risky to put all of your eggs in that basket, because what happens if that Daniel Bryan versus Triple H match is only good and it's not great? What happens if Daniel Bryan gets into that main event and he wins the title and it's good but not great? That might sound crazy for me to say, but you just never know. So I don't understand why the WWE is doing this, where they're basically putting all their eggs pretty much in one basket. One of my biggest fears with the Usos winning the titles before WrestleMania was the fact that, one, they weren't going to get that big signature WrestleMania moment, and two, that if they won those straps before Mania, they might actually end up on the damn pre-show in a match that a lot of people aren't going to check out and a lot of people will ultimately forget about. And damn it, wouldn't you know, that's exactly what happened. Fudge. That pisses me off. You only have 7 damn matches on the main card. Why can't you throw an 8th one on there? That's 2 matches an hour. If you can't figure out a way to make that work out, WWE, then you truly are morons and you truly lack the fundamental understanding of good, decent time management with your freaking card. It's 4 hours, 2 matches an hour. How the hell can you not do it? Well, you need something for the pre-show. Find something else. Your tag titles, especially with the US and IC titles not being defended on the damn cards. Your tag titles belonged on this card. The Usos belonged on this damn main card. The Real Americans belonged on this damn main card, and instead we won't get it. And that's bullshit. And I don't give a damn what you say. Well, even if the New Age Outlaws would have kept the straps to WrestleMania, they still could have been on the pre-show. Listen, they might have wrestled on the pre-show at the Royal Rumble, but the Rumble is not WrestleMania. I guarantee you the New Age Outlaws weren't going to be wrestling on no pre-show at WrestleMania. You want to know why I say it? Oh, that's right, because they're actually in a 6-man tag that's on the main WrestleMania card. God, this pisses me off. To me, with WrestleMania 30, there's only one match that needs to open this card. There's only one match, frankly, that should open this card. And no, it's not the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I think it's got to be Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. And here's why. Because this would be a match right from the very beginning that would get the people incredibly engaged and emotionally invested into this show. This would also be an opportunity to let the fans know what type of night it's going to be and remove all doubt right from the very beginning. Does it have the chance to be a special type of night for everybody? Or does it have a chance to just be a WWE type of night for everybody? Now, I can't imagine at this point in time that the WWE is really going to sit there and have this match to have Daniel Bryan lose it. However, it's what I talked about before. Are they going to go a new way, a different way? Or are they going to stubbornly cling to the WWE way? Because I will never put it past this company to pull the ultimate troll on the fans, to sit there and have a Triple H go over a Daniel Bryan, or have this be some type of no contest or double DQ where they both get involved in the main event at the end of the night, and they find a way to make Triple H the big heel, remembering that they brought in Batista, they brought him in as a babyface, tried to have him win the Rumble as a babyface, and maybe still have visions on having Batista become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion at the end of the night. God knows that I don't want that. God knows that I think most of you don't want that. The Breakfast Club may rule, but this is one night that I hope they all recognize and realize what at this show is truly best for business. And that's why I think you have to have this match open the card. Because, like I said, it's either A, going to get everybody really emotionally invested, be a great, phenomenal start to this show, and really get the people pumped up, or it's going to totally deflate the crowd right from the very beginning and let them know once and for all who's going where, and let them know how business is really done in the WWE. When it comes to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, to me, this is nothing more than an excuse to find a way to get a lot of guys that otherwise would miss out on the WrestleMania 30 card and get them some type of WrestleMania payout. And I'm fine with that. And, you know, some people might sit there and say, well, I would rather have a Money in the Bank match. And maybe I would too. You know, I think Money in the Bank, instead of being a pay-per-view, should be something that is a part of WrestleMania every year. It's a chance to give a young up-and-comer, potentially, a WrestleMania moment. But even here with this Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, this is a chance to give somebody a WrestleMania moment. Now, are they going to go with somebody younger and use this as a launching point, as a stepping stone, as a, star-making moment? They could. Could they go down the path of a Big Show and have him win it and say, thanks for doing the Akibono crap at 21, thanks for having to put up with Mayweather at 24? They could. Hopefully this will be a good, entertaining match that they manage well, that they don't have all 30 guys make their freaking entrances, because that's going to take forever. Hopefully this match doesn't drag out too long, because you don't want it to be just like the Royal Rumble 2 months plus before, where it feels like the same damn thing. Do I wish there was maybe some type of stipulation to this match or incentive to win this match other than a trophy? Perhaps. But like I said, I'm willing to roll with it. Hogan's going to be involved, you would think, in some way. It gets a bunch of people on the WrestleMania 30 card, and that ultimately is a good thing. For all the talk of how hot Daniel Bryan is in 2014 as a character, it's all justified, it's all deserved, because he is. The guy that's nipping on his heels for that honor though, is Bray Wyatt. This guy is really hot right now as a character. He beat Daniel Bryan 100% clean at the Royal Rumble. He won his tag match at Elimination Chamber, and now here heading into WrestleMania 30, he is facing off against the face of this company for almost the past decade in John Cena. I love how they've had John Cena basically come out and say that the future goes through him. The buck kind of stops with him. That he is the measuring stick, because frankly for the WWE, John Cena is the ultimate measuring stick. And to me, this match is about one thing and one thing only. I know a lot of you are going to be looking at it and saying, man, I hope Bray Wyatt tears the house down like he did with Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble. That maybe could happen. But frankly, I don't give a fuck. To me, it is only about one thing, and that's it. And that is that Bray Wyatt must go over John Cena here. No excuses, no reasons for it not to happen. To sit there and say, well, Cena's lost it a few pay-per-views, you can't continue to have him lose. Bullshit. To sit there and say, well, John Cena could win here and then Bray Wyatt could win later. Well, nobody will fucking care. This is WrestleMania. This is a chance to really establish a Bray Wyatt as a future top player. This is a chance to sit there and establish him maybe as a future opponent down the road at WrestleMania for The Undertaker. This is a chance here after his victory over Daniel Bryan at Royal Rumble. After his tag match victory at Elimination Chamber. Now you get to the second of the Signature 4 pay-per-views in 2014. He could sit there and beat 100% clean in the middle of the ring the face and the franchise player of the WWE since 2005 in John Cena. Now you've taken a guy and potentially established him as a future World Heavyweight Championship, WWE World Heavyweight Championship contender. Maybe even sometime in 2014 going after somebody like a Daniel Bryan. The WWE cannot possibly be this fucking stupid to sit there and think that it is a good idea to have John Cena go over here at WrestleMania. I promise you, there is only one decision, there is only one right decision, and that is that Bray Wyatt must go over here at WrestleMania 30. If you want John Cena to not look bad in this feud, then have him win at Extreme Rules. Even have him win the damn blow-off. It doesn't matter. He'll still get his. But it has to be about Bray Wyatt here. And if John Cena isn't full of shit, and actually believes that crap that he's been saying in his promos about being the measuring stick, about being the guy that the future has to go through, then he has to be smart enough to recognize that Bray Wyatt is a big part of that future for this company. He has to recognize that this is easily the second hottest character in the WWE right now, and not that far behind Daniel Bryan. Bray Wyatt's character is almost white hot right now. And you cannot jeopardize that momentum in any way here at WrestleMania 30. If this company sits there and sticks stubbornly to their old motto of hustle, loyalty, respect, and has John Cena go over here, so much of what they've done with Bray Wyatt, frankly, will be for naught. Because eventually they will job out Bray Wyatt and they will make him inconsequential, and that will be a goddamn shame. This is another one of these matches right here that represents a fork in the road. A chance at a new way, or a chance to do things the WWE way. One of the things that has bothered me with the setup and the build-up to WrestleMania 30 is it felt like in a lot of ways that the undercard was just completely taken for granted until about 2 weeks before the show, and they're like, oh God, we got to fill out this card. Maybe it's like they realized that Kane didn't have a match at WrestleMania 30. The New Age Outlaws didn't have a match at WrestleMania 30. Maybe they were listening to him politicking about getting a match at WrestleMania 30. So they decided to turn the Shield all the way back babyface so that way we could get this six-man tag. It's kind of disappointing in a sense that the Shield have put on some great matches as a unit, and you were hoping they were going to have the chance to do that here at WrestleMania 30. But with a Kane and the New Age Outlaws, you're just not sure that you're going to get that type of match you would expect the Shield to have at a big show like this, the biggest show of the year. Now, it could be still an important match for the Shield as a group, giving them a signature victory at a Big Four pay-per-view, and that's a really damn good thing. It would be really important for Roman Reigns to get the pinfall over somebody like Kane here after eliminating 12 people at the Royal Rumble and going to the final two. That's the type of stuff that you do that could create a future star. But I just hope what happens here in this match, that the Shield doesn't get slowed down too much by Kane and the New Age Outlaws. I hope those guys are able to pull a great match out of their ass, because the Shield deserve to have that great type of spotlighted WrestleMania match and not just kind of be drugged down a little bit. Yeah, they could win, and that would be great. But for the Shield, and the Shield in particular, I think it's important for them to have a really good WrestleMania match here and get the victory. Initially, I was a big fan of the build-up to Undertaker and Brock Lesnar heading into their match here at WrestleMania 30. I was kind of liking the fact that they were keeping it simple, stupid. But then it got to a point in time, I'm like, I realized that they're not really doing a whole lot to get a whole lot of heat on Brock Lesnar, and they need to be doing a lot more to build him up to be the big-time threat that he should be to an Undertaker in the streak, and maybe the biggest and greatest threat to the Undertaker and his streak at WrestleMania. It just doesn't happen. Now, the good thing is, ultimately, is that this will be an Undertaker match at WrestleMania. And in recent years, they have a track record, for most people at least, of being really damn good and being one of the highlights of the night. And ultimately, when all is said and done, that's what I expect here. Now, with Brock Lesnar, you get something different. You get a much more physical match, even more physical than the matches that Taker had with Triple H at 27 and 28. This could feel different. This could be bad. But it could also be really, really damn good, and a match that really helps save the show, and a match that really, really dominates the night. And that's what I'm hoping for. But what I'm hoping for most, and what I believe will happen, is that The Undertaker will find yet another victim in Brock Lesnar, go on to be 22-0 at WrestleMania, and all the haters can rest in peace. As far as will I do live reactions for WrestleMania 30, haven't decided yet. If I did, probably the one thing you guys would all care to see, if you remember some of the old OTRS WrestleMania live reactions, is to see how I act during this match. If you've never gotten the chance to see how I act during an Undertaker match at WrestleMania, I may say you may or may not be missing out. Now, thankfully to me, WrestleMania 30 will represent the end of AJ Lee's reign as Divas champion. And it's not even so much anymore the fact that I'm not a fan of AJ Lee. It's the fact that I've been baffled by the fact that at one point in time, this company was incredibly behind AJ Lee, and they viewed her as a big-time star. To now, you've gotten to the point where she is the longest reigning Divas champion in your company's history, and half the weeks you don't even feature on TV. And when you do feature her on TV, you do everything you can to make her look weak and make her look stupid. I just think that's ridiculous, and I actually am starting to feel bad for her. I really, really am. Now, do I expect anything great out of this Divas Championship match with all these divas involved? No. Do I expect this to be a piss break, if not a full-on poop break for a lot of you? Yes. Will it be for me? Perhaps. Who should win this match? The WWE probably looks at it and says, one of the Bellas, Natalya, Tamina, or Naomi. My personal preference would be either Naomi or Tamina. That's just me, though. It really depends on your perspective when it comes to the WWE. Do you crap on them for not understanding what the people really wanted and for continuing to think that they knew how to do things better than the fans were trying to tell them how to do things? Or do you give them credit for realizing what they were doing wasn't going to work and was a bad idea, and being able to adjust and call an audible? And maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe you criticize them for not planning things out better and not envisioning what could happen. but also giving them credit for calling the audible that obviously needed to be called. And when it comes to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania 30, clearly an audible was called, and clearly an audible ultimately did need to be called. Now, some people might sit there and say, well, you couldn't have two heels in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania 30. I don't know if I fully agree with that. The problem is, though, is that you've got a heel world champion that is kind of vanilla in Randall Keith Orton, let's face it. And on the flip side, you've got a guy that's come back, and his comeback has been a disaster in Batista. It's not just that it's two heels wrestling for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It's the fact that it's two of the Breakfast Club members, one guy that gets mediocre reactions as your heel WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and your other guy who was supposed to come back as a monster babyface and be the triumphant white Filipino knight heading into WrestleMania 30 is now one of the most hated individuals in the company by the fans. That's why they had to call the audible. Ultimately, I hope they called the right audible, and that is they have Daniel Bryan beat Triple H, give him that big signature WrestleMania moment and victory, and then go on to main event this show and close out the night, because this could be a special moment. And this could be a chance for the WWE to really, really send the fans home happy and really, truly create a special moment and a special show and let everybody know that they understand that maybe sometimes the WWE way isn't always the best way, and that sometimes there is a different way, and sometimes it's better to take that new way. Just imagine the reaction if 80,000 people are sitting there watching on Sunday in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Daniel Bryan either pins Batista or pins Orton or submits Batista and becomes the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. If you want to sit there and sell your product as being family friendly and fun and engaging and a once-in-a-lifetime experience, you could sit there and put that on a loop for 40, 50 years in all your marketing and promotional stuff, sitting there as one man is holding up the title, and you've got everybody going, yes, 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 yes. What a truly memorable, awesome moment that could be. And ultimately, when it comes to WrestleMania 30 again, I talk about it. This is a critical juncture for the WWE. You know, they hope with their sphincters tightly clenched that things go relatively swimmingly and smoothly with the WWE network. And ultimately, I think it is a critical juncture for this company again, as I've talked about throughout this preview video, because it represents a chance to either continue to do things stubbornly the WWE way, or it is a chance for this company to take a new path and go a new way and really create some goodwill and some good feelings with the fans about this product and this company with WrestleMania 30 and beyond.